Good morning, friends. Today we will cover how to monitor server resources. That means, what are the server resources? We all know that server resources means CPU, memory, and HDD space, that is hard disk space. Three all resources are known as server resources. We also know that in Windows system, if we will go to the task manager, we can check the resources. Here we can check the utilization of CPU, memory, and disk utilization, or as well as the Ethernet port utilization. But in case of Linux, how you can check this? Today we will cover this part. In last class, we have discussed about history, text editor, tools for extracting text, and shell scripting. These four things we have covered last session, and today we will cover the resource utilization. So first we will cover how to check the CPU utilization. For CPU information, we have to use the command lscpu. Let me show you lscpu. This will show you the detailed information about the CPU installed in the server. That means this is a 64-bit CPU, and this will support 32 and 64-bit both, and this is a Intel CPU, and hypervisor vendor is VMware. That means this is a VM operating system running on the VM, and likewise all information will be show you in the command lscpu. Likewise, you can see here it is showing me one. That means I have configured one CPU for this virtual machine. Then again, cat proc CPU info. Cat slash proc CPU info. You can see same information as like nproc, sorry, like LSCPU. Same information is also showing here using the command cat proc CPU info. That means CPU info is present in slash proc. Please remember this part, slash proc CPU info. These are the three commands. Using the commands, we can check the CPU information, detailed CPU information. Then free is the command to check what is the status of the memory now. If we will check this one, it will show the physical memory as well as the swap memory status. This is the total memory used, free, and share, buffer cache, all things. That means using the free command, we can check the memory information. But this is not in a readable format. We have to calculate it if we want to know the exact number. So free minus h. You can see h minus means human readable. Total I have given the 5454 MB. That means I have given only 512 MB CPU. Let me show you how much CPU I have provided here. Go to the virtual machine setting. There you can see I have provided the 512 MB memory to the virtual machine. So that is showing in the free minus h command. H means human readable. Am I audible to all? Please share. Okay. Then cat slash proc slash mem info. That means this is also another method to check the memory information. You can see this will give the detailed information about the memory. Total memory this much, free is this, memory available this, and other parameters. It will provide you the detailed parameter, detailed information about the memory. So clear swap space in Linux. That means now you can see that this is the swap memory installed in the server and utilized and free. These things for the swap memory, it is showing here. If I want to clear the swap memory, then we have to use the command swap of A. Then if you want to re-enable it, swap on minus A. This command we can use to clear the swap memory. You can see, because it is a very little amount of memory is used here, so there is no effect while I am clearing the swap memory. In case production server, swap will be used at that time, it will be affected. So CPU and memory utilization. We have till now we have discussed how to check the information about the CPU and memory. Now we will check the utilization. To check the CPU and memory utilization, we have to use the command top. Let me show you top top. This is the command through which we can check the utilization of the CPU and memory. Here you can see this is the row for the CPU information, and this is the row for the physical memory information, and this is the row for the swap utilization. So 3 lines here you can check the information of the CPU, memory and swap memory utilization. Here total 545 total memory installed. Out of that 5.7 is available and 330 is used. This is the physical memory installed. And here also in a table format it is showing that which process consuming how much process and how much memory. You can see here this is the line where VM tool SD means this is the VMware tool which is responsible for the virtual machines in a VMware hypervisor. This VM tool, how much memory consuming and how much resources consuming, and which user is through which user it is running. Here the detailed information showing in a row and column structure. So type capital P to sort all running processes by CPU usage. That means if you want to check the processor wise, CPU utilization wise, we can here press the shift P. I have pressed the shift P. You can see I can shift P. 0.9% is the highest utilization in the in my server, and what is which application is using consuming that VMware tool that at that time we consumed. Now it is another process is consuming the highest CPU, that is 0.03. So if you want to sort the services which is consuming more CPU, we have to use the command shift and capital P. That means we need to press the capital P here. Then type M, capital M, to sort all running processes by memory usage. Here if you want to press the capital M, at that time you also see the memory utilized by the processes. Likewise, type I to hide all idle processes. If you want to check the all idle processes, we have to use the capital I here. Okay. Type capital S to sort all processes by how long the processes have been running. That means if you use the capital S, this will also show you the idle time. Then type capital U to view all processes owned by a specific user. When here I will press, then here you can see which user blank for all. Here you can use root, not in capital, root. It will show the all the processes running by the root user. Likewise, we can use the CPU and memory utilization top command, and the parameters will be minus P, M, I, S and U. Okay, any doubt here? Anyone having any doubt? Okay, network related information. And if you want to check the network related information, we have to use the command net state minus an pipe more. Here we need to press Q to exit from the top. Okay. Here it is showing me the entire information about my the server, which service is running and which port is running and which port it should listen. If we will check the 22 port is the SSH port which will allow me to connect to my server from the putty tool. You can see it is showing 0.0.0 colon 22 port and 0.0.0 dot star. That means from any IP we can connect to this virtual machine. Likewise, we can check the network information using the netstate command. Then netstate minus an grep established. You can see 129, 128, 37, 129, 22, and this is the that means this is the IP of my virtual machine, and through 22 one connection is established. That means this is the putty tool, and through the putty tool I am accessing to my virtual machine. This is the virtual machine I am accessing through port 22. Likewise, we can check which ports are now connected to my server and from which IP source IP. You can also check that, because this is the source IP of the my desktop and this is the destination that means this is the IP of the virtual machine, and through port 22 now I am connected. You can see using the who command also we can check from this IP using the root user one connection is established to the server. Then netstate minus an grep listen. It will provide the all the information about these ports should listen to the destination, that means other servers to my virtual server. That means from other IP we can connect to the virtual machine through these ports 22 and this ports. This is will be entire information showing through which port we can communicate to the virtual machine. Then telnet. Telnet is a tool or a command is used to establish the connection between a different machines. It uses TCP port 23, which is assigned to be telnet protocol. That means telnet protocol works on port 23 and which is used to check the connection between the source and destination. And the command will be telnet destination port IP. Let me show you from my server. I have already shown you. Here from my desktop I have connected to the server. That means here it is the source IP and this is the destination IP. This is the IP of my virtual machine and port is 22. That means it is established. That means my desktop is able to communicate to the server through port 22. If we want to check this connection, we have to use the we have to open the command prompt Then using the telnet command, telnet, then destination, port 22. You can see now it is connected. That means connection. Okay, this prompt is coming means from my desktop to virtual server connection is establishing. So using the telnet command, we can check the communication between the source to the destination. Here source is my desktop and destination is my virtual machine. Then NS lookup. NS lookup is a command line administrative tool for testing and troubleshooting DNS servers, domain name server. That means using the NS lookup command, we can check the domain name of uh, domain name and the IP addresses. It will reserve the domain name to IP address. If you want to check the IP address of the google.com, you can see it is showing me the IP address of the google.com. If we will check it recursively, NS lookup, then IP address, it will also show me the. Oh, it is not working because google.com is working with multiple IPs. That's why it is not working. In case of in our environment, whenever we will check the NS lookup to the domain name and the IP address, it will reserve and it will show the google.com like this. Then processes information. Processes means till now we have checked the resources like CPU, memory. Now we will check the processes. PS command is used to PS checks if a background process has started in a Linux system. By default, it prints the processes of the current user and terminal in 4 columns. Let me show you in my desktop. These are the processes running in the server. Sorry, in my desktop. These are the processes running in the desktop. Likewise, if you want to check the running processes in the Linux system, we have to use the command ps. That means processes. You can see using 4 column PID, PTY, time and CMD. These are the 4 column. Using the 4 column, it will display the information. That means here it is showing the bash prompt. Now where we are working, and another command we have executed, that is the PS. Am I audible to all? Okay. So PS checks the process ID. PS minus C, capital C, EM. That means it will display me the information about the EM process. Let me show you. Here you can see PS minus capital C, YM, EM. Now it is not showing anything. That means EM process is not running. We will start the EM process manually and check. We have executed the command yum update. Now we have started the yum command. That means we have started the yum process. Now check here. You can see now it is started displaying the process ID. This is the process ID. PID means process ID. T2I means this is the terminal where it is running. Time is this is the time, and the command is yum. So if you want to terminate this process, we want to terminate it manually. Now you can see process is completed. Again check. Now that process is terminated. But sometimes we need to terminate this process manually. At that time, what we will do? We can use the command kill command. You can see now it is showing kill -9 and process ID. It will kill the process, but that process is completed. That's why it is not showing. It is completing, actually it is completing very fast. That's why it is completing. Okay. Okay, anyhow, all packages are installed. That's why it is within few seconds yum command is terminating. So no problem. Using the kill -9 option, we can terminate a specific process. Before that, we have to check the process ID, and using the process ID, we can kill the process manually. So PS-E. E flag means to print all the processes within the system, not just the one process. That means PS-E. It will display all the running processes in the server. Previously, we have checked that PS-C yum, it will display the information about only yum command, but using the command PS-E, it will display the detailed information about the all processes running in the server. PS-FE, that means more detailed output by using the -F option. It will display the more detailed. You can see it is displaying more detailed information about the processes. So to search a detailed information about a process, PS-FE pipe grep yum. That means grep means to filter out more granularly. That means filter out a single information about the yum command through the detailed information. Okay, so it will the search out the yum process about the yum process and display in the screen from the entire information from the PS-FE. So kill command -9 option to kill the process ID. And some other options are 1 means reload process, 15 means gracefully stop a process. Gracefully stop means it will wait until the process complete the its task. That means whenever it will not stop the process immediately. It will wait for the command to, it will wait for the service to complete its task. Then only it will shut down the process. And one means reload a process, stop and start. Then logs. Linux logs are located in cd/var/log. cd/var/log. You can see all log files are located here. So what are those log files? Var log messages, general messages as well as system related information. So note, CentOS and RHCL are stored in messages while Ubuntu and other Debian based systems are stored in syslog. That means messages is the log file for general messages in CentOS and RHCL, whereas in case of Ubuntu that will be syslog. So var log secure stores the authentication logs including both successful and failed logins and authenticator methods. In case of Debian and Ubuntu, it will be stored in the auth.log. Then var log boot.log, a repository of all information related to booting and any messages logged during the startup. That means all startup messages information should be stored in the boot log. Likewise, mail log stores all logs related to mail server. KERN stores the kernel logs. Messages related to device drivers, as well as failed log contains the information about the failed login attempts. So these are the important logs captured by the Linux operating system and stores in the var log directory. Then var log cron stores all cron related messages, that is related to cron job. And var log yum.log, it will display about the yum command information. It will store the yum command information. And a httpd, a directory containing error logs and access logs files of the Apache httpd daemon. Apache httpd daemon means this is the web service running and known as the Apache httpd in Linux. So httpd is a directory which contains the error log as well as the access logs in Linux operating system. So now we will check server uptime. W is the command through which you can check the server uptime, and uptime is also another command through which you can check the server's uptime. We can use the W command. Here you can use what is the uptime of the server. Here two consoles are running. This is one putty session and another, this is also another putty session. So it is displaying me the uptime of the server. Sorry, this is showing me the uptime of the server, and this is the about the sessions. So uptime is also another command. It will show the uptime of the server. Then using top also you can check the uptime. Here top, this is the uptime of the server. Okay, using three commands you can check the uptime of the server. So we have completed today's session. Today we have learned how to check the resources of the server and how to check the information about the processes running in the server and how to check the log files as well as the uptime of the server. So we have completed today's session. Anyone having any question, please ask me.